What does your leadership brand say about you? Today on the podcast, we're talking all about how to build trust, respect, and credibility as a new leader. Welcome to A Leader's Journey, the podcast for leaders who deeply believe there is a better way to lead and desire to create their unique journey towards becoming a legacy leader. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond. Over the last 20 years as a corporate leader and leadership performance coach, I've learned that many leaders believe there is a predefined path they have to follow and struggle leaning into their unique gifts that will create lasting impact and fulfillment. They end up feeling stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled in the day-to-day of their role and are challenged with why, since they have experienced success in their career and in life. I'm here to help leaders think through their leadership journey, learn how to ask themselves better questions, and learn the formula to create their leadership journey by design. If you are ready to design your unique leadership journey, lead with confidence, and love the teams you lead, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. Hello, my friends and fellow leaders. Welcome to A Leader's Journey. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond, and I'm glad to have you back here with me this week on the podcast. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. I know that your time is valuable, and I deeply appreciate you taking some time to spend it here with me this week, and that you are taking the time to invest in your growth and development as a leader. As an emerging leader, you may feel pressure to prove yourself, to be seen as competent, and to gain the respect of your team and your peers. But the key to leadership success isn't just about what you do, it's about how you show up and how others perceive your leadership. That's where your leadership brand comes in. Your leadership brand isn't about a logo or a tagline. It's the reputation you build through your actions, communication, and presence as a leader. It's what people say about you when you are not in the room. And today, we're going to uncover how you can shape that brand with intention so you can be seen as the strong, respected, and trusted leader that you are and that you desire to be. So what is a leadership brand, you might ask? Well, your leadership brand is the impression that you leave on people that you work with. It's how your team, your colleagues, and executives perceive your leadership style, effectiveness, and impact. Whether you're aware of it or not, you already have a leadership brand. And the magic question is that brand aligned with the leader that you desire to be? A great question to ask yourself is, how do I want to be known as a leader? What do I want people to say about me? And the answers to those two questions help you build your leadership brand and should be what you lean into how you show up around others. Now, your leadership brand really is built on two things. It's built on your actions. So as a leader, this is how you make decisions, how you lead and or participate in meetings, how you manage conflict and address issues within your team, and how you interact with others, whether that's one-to-one conversations, team meetings, or just regular conversation throughout the office, or just back and forth, maybe even via chat if you are working remotely, or how you're talking to each other on the phone. The other aspect of your leadership brand is your presence. This is how you show up, not just from an attitude perspective, but it's also how you show up physically. How are you dressed for work? What do you look like? Do you look like you're put together, or do you look like you just rolled out of bed after not sleeping all night? Your presence is also how you're being, how you're behaving, your mannerisms, how you interact with others, how you communicate. And it's how you carry yourself in leadership situations and just in your everyday interactions. I know one of the key things that I've always shared with my team members is that you are interviewing for your next role every single day in every interaction that you have, whether you've applied for a role, even if you whether or not you even know what that role is that you're going to go for next, how you show up every day matters. And it's the same thing as a leader. Your brand is dictated in every interaction every day. It's not just something that's a one and done put on paper, or how you show up in just this one situation or just these types of situations. Your leadership brand is running 24/7, just like you're interviewing for the next job. It's happening every single day throughout your entire workday. Now, if you're not intentional about shaping your leadership brand, others are going to define it for you, and it may not reflect your true strengths or the things that you desire to be a part of your brand. There are 4 core elements that make up a strong leadership brand. You have a desire to build a leadership brand that commands trust, respect, and influence. And in order to do so, these are the 4 key elements that you really need to focus on and have clarity around what they mean for you and how those are going to show up and be a part of your leadership brand. So I want to dive into these 4 elements for you and talk a little bit about them. So the first one is clear communication. Leaders who communicate with clarity, they inspire confidence in others. So you need to be direct, articulate your vision, and ensure that your team understands the expectations. Now, we talked about this back in episode number 57 when we were discussing gaining influence and getting buy-in from your team. So I would encourage you to go back and listen to that episode, because that is a part of your leadership brand, and share some things that you can work on as far as clear communication. The second element to your brand is authenticity. People trust leaders who are real. So instead of trying to be like someone else, own your unique style and your strengths. No one is you, so don't try to be like anybody else. Back in episode 10, I talked about embracing you and leading with all of your quirks. And I mean everything I said in that episode wholeheartedly. When you embrace your uniqueness, you are also leading the way and setting the example for your employees to embrace who they authentically are. Being true to who you are is how you lead authentically, and it's how you let others get to know you. So don't try to be anybody else. Just be you and be authentic. Element number 3 is emotional intelligence. A strong leader knows how to read the room, manage emotions, and then respond thoughtfully. Your ability to navigate relationships and challenges with self-awareness and empathy is a defining trait of your brand. Your leadership brand is not just how you show up when everything is going well. Your leadership brand really comes to fruition and awareness to others when you're having to respond in challenging situations, and emotional intelligence is a big piece of that. Element number 4 of your leadership brand is your consistency in actions and values. Leadership is all about walking the talk. If you say one thing and do another, trust erodes quickly, and it's almost impossible to get it back. Align your actions with your values. Know what your values are. We've talked about that on many episodes here on the podcast. Your values, they are your foundation for everything that you do from a leadership perspective and as a human. So know your values. And when you align your actions with your values and you show up consistently, people will respect you, and they can, because they know that they can rely on you. They know what to expect from you, and they know exactly what it is that they're going to get, because they know this is how it is that you're going to show up in each of those situations. New leaders face many challenges. It's just part of being new at something. Now, one of those challenges really is figuring out what kind of leader they truly are. Many fall into the trap of trying to emulate others instead of embracing their natural leadership strengths. Now, to help leaders with this, and I think it's a key aspect of study as you are diving into your brand, I have found that human design can really be a big game changer for it. I know I've talked about human design before, but for those that might not be familiar with it, it's a tool that really helps you understand your natural energy, your decision-making styles, and your leadership strengths. And it helps you do that in a way so you can lead in that way that feels aligned, effortless, and impactful. Now, there's so much more that human design can tell you, and it's something that I've been studying with my coach and really enjoying it. And every single day, I'm learning more about myself, and that has completely changed my approach, not just to leadership, but to life. I know clearly when I'm acting in alignment with who I am and bringing my best self forward. And when I'm not on my A game, and I probably need to take some time to rest, reflect, and reset. One aspect of human design is what is called type. Now, there are 4 types within human design. They're projectors, generators, manifestors, and reflectors. And each one, they have their own unique way of leading. And when you know what type you are, it helps you in guiding how you show up as a leader. So, are you a leader who thrives by guiding others? Or maybe you're a leader that thrives on initiating action. Or it might be a leader that really wants to master their craft. When you can understand your human design type, it can help you lean into your strengths and build a leadership brand that's truly yours. I know for me, when I learned that my type was a projector, it explained so many things for me. Not just how I show up at work, but how I showed up in interactions with my friends and my family. Projectors, they're the leaders who thrive by guiding others. And I know that I can think of many, probably hundreds of examples if I really started putting them down on paper, of when I was able to be that guide for others. I felt great. Others were receptive to the things that I had to share. I felt very strong and confident, and I was just being me. And at the time, I didn't know that that's part of how I was uniquely designed. And now that I do, when I look back, wow, like that is an amazing experience. And as I look forward and how I show up in other situations, I know that I'm designed to be that guide. Another aspect of human design is your authority and decision making. Now, some leaders, they are designed to make those quick, instinctive decisions, while others, they need time to process before responding. Knowing your decision making authority allows you to communicate decisions with clarity and confidence and be able to trust more in the decisions that you're making because you are making them in the way that you are designed to. And the last aspect of human design I'm going to talk about today is your energy and your work style. Not all leaders are built for the same work rhythm. Some thrive with really structured workflows, while others are more effective when they follow those creative bursts of energy. There are also leaders who need to be very intentional about taking time to rest, and other leaders who they are meant to build and they have the energy just to keep on trucking. When you can align your leadership brand with your natural energy flow, you show up consistently and with greater impact. Your work has higher quality of output, and you show up as the leader that you desire to be. This area was another area for me that completely changed my leadership. I am the type of leader who I do need to be intentional about taking that time to rest. I know that I need to have white space in my calendar. And for the longest time, I thought I was broken because sometimes I just couldn't keep up from an energy perspective with others. Yet that wasn't a fault of mine. It wasn't a fault of theirs. It just, if I'm in a day where I'm back to back to back to back to back with meetings, I am not going to be very effective by the afternoon because that's not how I'm uniquely designed and how my leadership needs to be. When you're building your leadership brand around that human design, you are eliminating all the second guessing. You can avoid burnout and you can step into leadership with ease and with confidence. I can say firsthand that's exactly what human design has helped me do with my leadership brand over the last year. So now that we've talked a little bit about what makes up a strong leadership brand, I've shared with you a tool in human design that you can use to help you build and create your leadership brand. You might be wondering still, how do you build yours with an intention? So today I want to share with you 4 steps that will help you get started in doing that. So step number 1 is you have to define your leadership identity. What do you stand for as a leader? Identify your core values and your leadership principles. We talked a little bit about that earlier in this episode. You need to know what those core values are, and you need to be very clear on them. You can ask yourself questions like, what do I want to be known for? What leadership qualities do I admire in others that I want for myself as well? And how do I want my team to feel when they work for me? All of those answers to those questions are part of your leadership identity. And when you can get clear on them, it's going to help you know how you need to show up in every single situation and interaction. Now, once you've identified your leadership identity, let's go into step number 2. And you need to be able to communicate clearly and confidently. Your leadership brand, it's shaped in every conversation, email, chat, phone call, and meeting. You need to make sure that your messaging is clear. So you are saying what you mean and you mean what you say. You need to make sure that it's confident. So you need to make sure that you own your voice and your ideas and that you speak them with conviction. Because if you hesitate or there's a crack in what it is that the confidence in what it is that you're sharing, others will not buy in. You need to truly believe it and you need to own that belief. And you need to make sure that your communication is positive. Even in difficult situations, a leader focuses on the solutions, not just the problems. And I would add too that your communication needs to be consistent. So when you're clear and you're confident and you're positive and you consistently show up that way, people are going to know what to expect when you have to deliver a message to them. I know my communication style, it is one that is very direct, and my team knows that. It's direct when I'm sharing good, positive news, and it's direct when I'm having to deliver a difficult message. I don't sugarcoat things, and they know that. And so they know that that's what they're going to expect, right? So if I show up and I'm trying to sugarcoat things and I'm, adding a lot of fluff into the things that I'm saying, my team is going to see right through that because they know that that's just not part of my brand, nor is it part of who I am when it comes to communication. All right, step number 3, build trust through your actions. Trust is not given, it's earned. And it's earned in every single action you take and the ones that you don't take. You have to prove yourself as a leader, and your team has to prove themselves to you as well. And that's done through your actions. You can very easily prove yourself and your actions by making sure that you follow up. Do what you say what you'll do, and follow through with what it is that you committed to. If I say that I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time for my team, then I'm going to be there. If I say that I'm going to take care of something, then I'm going to take care of it. And that leads into the second part of building that trust through action. It's also a big part of its transparency, right? You need to be honest even when it's uncomfortable. And sometimes if I've missed the mark on something, I've got to be able to be honest with my team and say, I committed to doing this by this date, and I might miss that deadline. And here's what I'm committing to, and I will make sure that this gets done. And they know that they can trust in that. You have to be honest with your team. And when you don't, people can tell when you're not being honest. And when you fall into that trap is really hard to get out of. If you don't have the answer, just say you don't know. Nobody is expecting you to have all the answers except you. Don't try to beat around the bush and give some half-hearted answer. Just say, I don't know, and I'm going to need to look that up, and I will get back to you, and here's by when. Because if you try to sidestep around it, they're going to see right through it, and you're going to lose trust with them. You also have to have empathy, right? Through your actions, you need to really make sure that you're showing up in a way that you shows your team that you truly understand their challenges and that you genuinely support them. And that again is shown through your actions. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't hold your team accountable for the things that they need to be held accountable to. If there's deadlines they need to meet, if there's certain behaviors that they are expected to exhibit on a regular basis, you need to hold them accountable for it. Yet we're all human and things are going to happen. And so there will be points in time when you do have to have a little bit of empathy, understand what is going on with them, and figure out what's a way that you can be there to help support them, and we can still keep our work moving forward. All right, step number 4 in building your brand with intention is get feedback and refine your brand. This is where you need to involve others. So ask your teammates, mentors, leaders, your peers, get some feedback from them on what they believe that your leadership brand is. You can do that through asking some really simple questions like, what's 3 words that you would use to describe my leadership brand? Or what do you see as my leadership strengths? And one that I like to ask others is, what's one area that you think I can improve in? Others are going to see things that you just don't see because you're a part of it all the time. And sometimes we tend to undersell our strengths and not think that they are a strength because it's come so naturally and easy to us, but for others, they see it as their strength. So get some feedback and be prepared to continuously refine your brand. So those are our 4 steps. Now, I do want to leave you with this. Your leadership brand, it is always evolving, and this is where that refinement of step 4 comes in. So don't get too stuck or hung up on what you define right now as being something that is set in stone. Now, there are some things that will never change because they just are who you are, and they're not things that you should be changing. Other parts of your brand, they are going to grow along with you, and that's where you have to be ready to pivot. So refine it as you grow and make it a regular habit to check in on your brand. Are you acting in alignment with it? Does it still fit who you desire to be as a leader? And if you feel that you need to go deeper on your leadership brand, I want to encourage you to check out episodes 13, 14, and 15. This is where I shared with you my workshop on creating your leadership vision. There's some additional questions in there that will help you go deeper, that might help get some of that thinking started for you in how it is that you want to define the vision for your leadership and your leadership brand. Your leadership brand is one of the most powerful assets that you have. And when it's built with intention, it opens doors, earns respect, and helps you step into higher levels of leadership with confidence. If you need clarity on your unique leadership identity and you want to build a brand that commands trust, respect, and influence, let's uncover it together in a Level Up Your Leadership assessment. You can check the show notes for how to schedule yours today. It's free, and we can go through an exercise that will help give you some clarity on where you currently are as a leader and some areas that you have some work to do. I hope that you have found this episode valuable and you are going to start intentionally building your leadership brand. I appreciate you tuning in this week, and I would love for you to tune in here with me each and every week as we are going to discuss strategies, development actions, and mindsets new leaders can leverage to step confidently into the right leadership roles for them. Until next time, my fellow leaders, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year. Thanks for listening to A Leader's Journey podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're excited to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in next week for another exciting leadership lesson. I'd love to help you level up your leadership, achieve the goals you desire, and design your unique leadership journey. So click the link in the show notes to schedule a free Level Up Your Leadership session. During this time, we will define where you are in several key areas of leadership, where you desire to be, and how you can level up your leadership. You don't need to do this alone, so let's chat today and get your journey started. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or in the A Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and share this episode with another leader so we can all learn and grow together. That's all for this episode, and I'll see you next week. Until then, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year.